on this computer. And I'm going to share my screen. All right, here we go, friends. All right. Thank you for being so patient, my friends. Oh, no, don't be doing that. Okay, here we go. Oh, no. No, don't be, no. That's later. Oh, well, that's good. My computer's not doing, I'm just spinning today. That is not where it's supposed to be. Nope. I have to go to Google Classroom and. Have you? Awesome. Well, today we're going to talk about, I'm going to have to pretend I'm a kid today. My computer has been having problems all day long. And you'll need your mic. Oh, yes, thank you. All right, today is Thursday. All right. Nope, that is not a microphone. That is this. Okay. All right, thank you, friends. Again, you guys are being really patient. Thank you so much. All right, hi, my friends at home. Here we go. Are you ready? Okay, thank you. All right, here we go. So today we are going to continue with overcoming our learning challenges near and far. We're going to find out about somebody else in a different place. Yesterday it was Columbia. Today we are going to have some other places today. So today's book is called Rain School. And Rain School is a story inspired by a school that an author saw in Kelo, Chad in the 1970s. These slides will give you some more information about Chad. So here's this, you can see the outline of it. And in a minute, you're going to see where in the world it is. But if you look right here, in this very southern part here, you're going to see this X. This X is where the story takes place. And here's our world picture again. And we have, yesterday was the Billio here, and we were in the United States. Today, we have Rain School from Chad. What continent is Chad on? Can you tell what is that continent there in the middle? Ben, what continent is that? Do you know? So nope. So Colombia is over here in South America. What continent is that big one there? Anybody at home know what that continent is? Oh, China. No, that's a country rather than continent, but that's all right. Lila, Mars, you can unmute yourself. Do you know what continent that is?
So it's in Africa.
Yes, very good, Lila. In Africa. So are we, oops, no, go back. Are we close to that spot? No. In fact, we would, to get there, it would be many hours in an airplane. And if we were trying to get there in a car, obviously we couldn't because we'd have to go where? Over the ocean. And we wouldn't, so we'd have to take a boat or definitely an airplane, right? Okay. So today, uh-oh, I've got some extra voices. I'm going to wait until I have whole body listening. All right, thank you. Whole body listening for me, friends. So today we're going to listen to a story about Rain School. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about Chad in a minute, but I want you to see what the book is about before we add a lot of information, more information. Okay.
Rain School, written and illustrated by James Rockford. In the country of Chad, it is the first day of school. The dry dirt road is filling up with children. Big brothers and big sisters are eating.
Sorry. Meant to turn it up.
Will they give us a notebook?
Did the wrong thing.
Thomas asks. Will they give us a pencil? Will I learn to read like you? Stop asking so many questions and keep up. Say the big brothers and big sisters. Thomas arrives at the schoolyard, but there are no classrooms. There are no desks. It doesn't matter. There is a teacher. We will build our school, she says. This is the first lesson. Thomas learns to make mud bricks and rise under the sun. He learns to build mud walls and mud desks. He gathers grass and saplings with the other children. It keeps going down.
Stop popping.
Smells good. Spread it around. Thomas helps bring in little stools. Everyone sits down. Have been waiting for. The teacher brings in a letter.
Can you raise your hand and tell me that?
Writes a letter. A, says the teacher. A, says Thomas and the other children. The teacher writes the letter with big strokes in the air. The students do the same. Over and over. Wonderful, says the teacher.
I'm going to pause it for a moment.
You might want to read it.
Right, so they can't hear it at all?
Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear it back there? I'm the computer.
I think you're facing away from it. Not, okay,
You guys got it? Okay, good. Let me see how they're doing that time.
okay. Well, we were going to do some questioning. Does anybody have anything they've noticed so far in our book? Because we've been practicing noticing and wondering and questioning, right? And inferring. So let's see if we've noticed anything before we go further. Abby.
I noticed that the teacher wearing the same headpiece and the same dress as one of the pictures we saw yesterday.
So yesterday or Tuesday? Tuesday. When we were just having just the pictures up there and we were noticing and wondering, you noticed that one of the characters from this book were in one of those pictures. Very good. What else do we see? Gabe. They're building their school. Wowzer. That is a lot different from what we're used to, right?
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Very good noticing, Mr. Gabe. Lyric.
I noticed that
Say it one more time, sweetie.
there's a
There was a lizard. So what is that? How does that help you infer about what it might be like there? Where do lizards usually live? Someplace warm and like in the desert, right? So that helps us infer that maybe at this place that they live, it's pretty warm, right? If you have lizards running around, that's a good, wonderful noticing and inferring in there. Josh. Okay, they all have dark skin color, right? So does that help us infer maybe about what the population is like in Chad? Okay, so we're learning a little bit about what the people and the weather and things are like. What else, Miss Ellie? They walked to school. Most of us did not walk to school today, did we? So they live in a very different place than we do for sure, right? Closer to that means that their house has to be somewhat closer, or that they have a really long walk. That's also possible, isn't it? Okay, anybody at home have any noticings or wonders? You can type in chat if you have a notice or a wonder for Mrs. Aubin. Not so much? Finn. They're sad kids? How did you decide they were sad? Ah, so you're thinking about how you would feel if you had to do that, right? They might get a bit tired. So you're thinking about how you might feel, and you're empathizing with them, right? We talked about empathy this morning.
feel sad feel good about it, but I would just feel tired.
Okay, did anything in the pictures or in the words lead you to believe that they were sad?
I
You're kind of inferring with your own emotions, right? Yeah, but if you were, so far, I'm looking in the pictures and so forth, I don't notice that, I mean, I haven't seen any sad faces yet.
no, I don't mean like they're sad. I think they might be a bit tired.
Just tired. Okay, well, let's see how when they finish the school, how they're feeling for sure. Elena?
I noticed that they build a school.
They build the school and we don't. When you came on the first day, here it was, right? Okay. Miss Sunny.
Yeah, I noticed that their desks were made out of clay.
Ah, Sunny noticed the desks were made out of clay from the picture. Okay, and Miss Serne.
Why do they have to build a school that can rain?
Ah, so Serne said, so she's got a good question. She's like, why do they have to build the school? And did she notice that the title is Rain School? So she's wondering how that's going to work out. Sounds like very nice wondering. Haley.
I noticed that the music in the background is way different.
Ah, so the music that the person chose when they were reading this might also give us some hints, right? Okay. We're gonna go ahead and keep going, and then we'll do some more noticings here. Some.
She hands out notebooks, pencils. Page 1, says the teacher. Thomas opens his notebook to the first page and holds his pencil ready and waiting. Now write the letter A. Beautiful, says the teacher as she looks at the student's work. Every day, Thomas learns something new. Every day, the teacher cheers him and the other children on. Excellent jobs, she says. Perfect, my learning friends.
So that looks familiar, right? Okay, because that's the picture we looked at earlier. So a lot of us made some assumptions on Tuesday about what we thought was going on, and now we actually know, right? All right, let's keep going. I did not.
9 months of the school year fly by. The last day has come. The students' minds are set to knowledge.
Oh, sorry, I clicked on it accidentally.
Thomas and the other children call out, "Thank you, teacher." She smiles and says, "Well done, my hardworking
Can they
friends."
turn up their volume?
Next year, Thomas and the other children agree. The school is empty, and just in time, the big rains have started. The drops come down hard and fast. Strong winds tear and
Yes.
the school's mud walls are soaked.
All right.
Start to slump. The muddy desks too. Slowly the school disappears, till there is almost nothing left. It doesn't matter. The letters have been learned and the knowledge taken away by the children. Come September, school will start over. Thomas will be a big brother then. They will all stand ready to go.
Okay. So I need to escape out of there. All right. So did that turn out how you thought it was going to turn out? So yeah, well then you already had read it, but how about for the rest of us? Did it go the way we thought it would go? So Serne, did you get an answer to your question a little bit? Yes. So when Serne asked the question about what, why are they building that school if the name of it's Rain School? Well, because every year they have to rebuild it. So we just said with Lyric, we made some predictions that things were warm, extra warm in Chad, and things that are, so heat is, it's hot there, but is it, oh, but when we kind of said like a desert, but was it dry like a desert? Some of the time, yes, but some of the time, obviously, no, because those rains come, and when the rains come, we have, obviously, the destruction of the schools. Yes, Noah? Yes. Surname? Did you hear the story before, so you knew what was going to happen? Yeah, you knew that. Why bother to even build a school? Because it's just going to be destroyed. But did the school, the children, were the children happy to go to school? Yes, they were. We could tell that they were, you know, especially at the beginning there, he's super excited about what he's going to learn. And he wants to learn how to do the alphabet. He wants to learn about their place in the world. And he's excited. And then next year, he will be one of the big kids, right? You guys are becoming bigger kids, and you know how it is for those kindergartners and first graders and second graders. And now you know much more. He's feeling that same way, isn't he? All right. So what did this story make you think about? What did this story make you think about? Any of my friends at home have anything you want to share? I can't quite see them. What did this make you think about, Sunny?
It made me think about how different our school is than theirs.
Very good. How our school is different than theirs. How was that?
Because we just come to school on the Thursday, so we have like a school that like on time. They have to go to school and then to their school
Yeah, Sunny was mentioning that at the beginning of the school, we have all the things we need. We brought our supplies, we have our desks, everything is built for us. Seems like we have a lot more technology than that school. Now this school the book was written after an experience in the 1970s. So was that a while ago? Yes. So do you think things might have changed a little bit over time? Yes. Well, yes and no. Some of the villages in Chad still are pretty remote, and they still have, you know, basic sort of things. I'm going to show you though some other places in Chad in a bit, and I want you to show you that there are big cities. They're not all small villages like this one example. So let's go back to becoming ethical people. We talked about this yesterday. Should we feel sorry for these kiddos that are in this school? No. Or is their life certainly different than ours? Yes. But did they gain probably some pretty interesting skills from having to build their school?
Yeah.
Yes. So, you know, like, since we don't have to do it, we may not have all those skills, but they certainly do. So just because, again, we have different things does not necessarily mean our things are always better, you know, in that kind of case. Because we have to appreciate those things that they did. They learned a lot of skills. And think about this. If you build your school, how are you going to treat it? You're going to treat it well, right? You're going to do a nice job keeping it clean and not messing, you know, not destroying anything because you were the one that built it. Now, I know that sometimes I've experienced at our school that sometimes kids just throw stuff away or, you know, or don't always treat things as nicely because they come easy to us, right? Sometimes, you know, depending on who we are, some of those things come, you know, easy. And so again, different situation, but not better or worse, just different, okay? So we're thinking about being ethical people and not thinking them as in that sort of terms. So learning targets today, we're going to determine the gist of Rain School. Do you guys remember what the word gist means? What does a gist mean? Lucas? Close, really close. Very close. Elena? What the story is mostly about, which is what Lucas was getting at for sure. That's the gist. Oh, it moved too fast. Evie, I'm teaching right now, so you can either ask Mrs. Aubin or you can hold up your hand and I'll try to get to you as soon as I can. I can identify the central message, lesson, or moral of Marine School. We're going to do that today for both this story and if we have time for yesterday's story as well. So before we get to the gist, I want to show you, give you a little bit of an idea. I'm going to put away the faces for a minute, so hopefully Mrs. Aubin is okay with that. So look at the United States. Can you see that in the background? United States is, I'm going to stand up for just a second. In fact, this doesn't even show the entire United States. But that blue part that's on top of it, that's the country of Chad. So the country of Chad is pretty big compared to, say, our state, right? Takes up quite a bit of spot. You can see Colorado kind of behind there. So is Chad bigger than our state? Yes. Is it as big as our country? No, it's not. But it's a little over 1,000 miles across from north to south. And if you could drive your car at 60 miles an hour, it would take you 18 hours to drive across the country. Do you think they can probably drive at 60 miles an hour all the way across their country though? No, right? Because we can't drive at 60 miles an hour. Yeah. Yeah. That's how I get in there every day. Okay, so in reality, even if they were in a car, it would take them 30 hours probably to drive from the top to the bottom. How many hours are there in a day? 24. So is that more? You'd have to drive for over a whole day to drive from one side to the other. Colorado takes us about 7 hours to drive from one spot to another based on that. And so the geography of Chad varies. In the north, there is desert, like we were talking, like with the lizard. But there's on the south, the climate is more tropical. Who knows what the word tropical means? Tropical. Ben, what does tropical mean?
There you go.
So sometimes sometimes tropical makes us think of beaches kind of thing. Charlie, you also had your hand up. What do you think tropical means? So definitely wet. Tropical is definitely very wet and hot, can grow like in that kind of condition makes us think of growing fruit for sure. So let's take another look real quick. So here we have is the capital of Chad. And in 2020, 1.4 million people live there in the capital city. So here we were talking about a small village where they come and go to their school. But does everybody live in a small village in Chad? No, not everybody does. And so they used Albuquerque as a major city, but we could use Denver. So 1.4 million people. Denver has a little bit more than that, but not much, but they're kind of comparable to the same size. And they speak different languages there. They speak Arabic and French. Those are the main languages, where we speak mostly English, but we have other languages that, people from the United States can speak. They have 120 languages that are spoken in Chad. So that is a lot of different languages. And so remember I said we can't feel sorry for them? Because I know a little bit, I know English and I know a little bit of French and a little bit of Spanish, but can you imagine if you lived in Chad, you might have many different languages that you might be able to speak. I have Isabella Morgan, I just let in.
No way.
I did. Hi, Isabella, I don't know where you are, but hello.
Oh.
Yay, you made it. I wanted to tell you before you passed out there. That's what you're working on. You got it. All right. So look at these schools. These are also in Chad. Do they look the same as the one we were talking about earlier? No. Definitely not. So even though we're reading a book about how things are in Chad, what do you notice in the bottom picture? What do they have there? Computers, right? So again, what I'm really wanting to hit home here before, that is that even when we read a book about a place, we can't even just generalize that that book is about the whole place, right? If somebody wrote a book about conifer, it might be, it might have something to do with, the cold and the snow and the first day of school kind of thing. But does it snow? Is it snowy here all the time? No. It also might be about, a couple of friends that are having difficulty with math. Do all of us have difficulty with math? No. So we can't generalize about a group of people just by one book, but it shows how they overcome their learning challenge, right? So here we have a couple different schools so you can see the difference there. All right, so now we're going to work on finding the gist. Most of you gave me a thumbs up yesterday, but a couple of you were not sure or had a thumbs down. So today we're going to practice doing another gist. So you're going to open your workbook, if you're here, to page, oh boy, I just had it, page 5, thank you. And if you are at home, you're going to take out your EL spiral because you're going to need these answers later inside your text box. Yesterday, I had several people do a really great job on their text box yesterday before they turned it in. So nice job, my friends. All right, so you have your pencils out. I bet some of you can remember from yesterday. Let's see. Can everybody at home see that okay? All right, let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Zoom in for my friends. All right, I can't get it to move. There we go. All right, let's make it a little bigger. I make sure my friends at home can see it. All right, and then if I do this. All right, my friends at home, is that better? Give me a thumbs up if that's better, hopefully. All right, here we go. All right, so overcoming learning challenges in, what is this story? What was the name of this story? Rain School. And my trusty dusty mark, there we go. So we're gonna write, it says overcoming challenges in, we're gonna write Rain School. I'm gonna grab, hold that. This earlier, so I can just have this to look at. I can't flip back very well with back and forth, so I'm gonna use this book, the actual book here as a helper. Okay, the author is, that wrote it and illustrated is James Rumford, capital R-U-M-F-O-R-D. You're getting this in your EL spiral, my friends? All right. So when we do a gist, it's what the story is mostly about, right? What the story is mostly about. So we're going to take all of the whole part of the story, and we're going to, remember, we're going to sort of squish it into a couple of sentences that tell the basics, right? So who's the somebody? Who is the main character of our story? Do you remember who our main character was? He had a name. You remember? Marin? Thomas. Very good. So we're going to write Thomas. And when we get through here, if you want to put this in your own words instead of Mrs. Harrison's words, I'm going to write it down so that everybody has an answer. But if you have a better way you want to write it and you include all the information that needs to be included, I don't mind if you write. A couple of my friends at home did a really great job at in the text box putting things in their own words. That's perfect. All right. So the setting. So Thomas where is he in this story? We all should know now because I showed you all kinds of things. Madison? He is in school, but where does he live? Where does that school take place? Where does that school take place? Ryder? Chad. So a village in Chad. And we don't want to, the reason I added the village part in there, right, is because we know not all of Chad looks like that. Not all, this isn't all of Chad, but in this village in Chad. All right. What does Thomas want? What is his motivation? What makes him excited? What does he want, Cole? He wants to learn in school, right? Yep. To go to school to learn. Go to school to learn. And because we're talking about learning challenges, and all of our books have that theme to them, what was the challenge that they had to face? What is that challenge that they had to face? I'm going to see if any of my friends at home have an idea. Astria.
Their challenge was to build a good school that wouldn't go down to rain.
Right. Well, they had no school because the rain melted it, right? So there was no school. So their challenge was that they were going to, so I think you're getting ready to you're adding to my solution, right? They didn't have a school because it rained, right? But there was no school. And if you wanted to add in there because it was destroyed by the rain, right? Very good. But did they let that stop them? Nope. Didn't let that stop them. So yesterday, didn't have any books. What does Anna do? She writes her own until she can get some more, right? She didn't let the fact that there were no books to stop her. She wrote her own. Thomas doesn't have a school. Teacher's like, hey, build one, right? First lesson of the day. So here's our solution. What should we write in there? What should we write in there? What should we write in there? What did they do? Think about all those skills that they had to learn to do that too. Elena? The teacher, she had to teach them how, right? The teacher and children. You can put these in your own words too, my friends, especially those of you at home and your notebooks. You can type them in your own words. They built the school. As part of their learning. I'm running out of space. So, what are they going to be able to do now that they've learned how to build a school? Madison, what can they do with that information? The next year, they'll have some of those skills already, right? Do you think they could build a building around their house? Yeah, Cooper's like, yeah, they could build. Now they have the skills to do those building things. The first time you ever do anything, you have to learn how to do it, right? But then you apply those skills to something else. And they can now use that for, oh, you guys can't see because all the people, right? Yeah. Sorry, my friends. Here, I'll put it up here because I think you guys know what's going on there. All right. Looking at my time, I'm doing good. All right. So, so the gist is what the story is mostly about. Did we put all of the details in the gist? No. Did we tell what they built the school out of? Yeah. Not in our gist, but did they in the story? Yeah. So if they were asking, so tomorrow we're actually going to do some things where we use this information to some more of the details of the story to help us. Today, we were just getting the gist because we want to be able to take a story that's longer. In fact, the books in your book boxes, you want to be able to read them and be able to condense them down to the gist and just have those couple of sentences that tell what the story is mostly about. Yes, Renee? Yes, ma'am, you sure can. All right, so our second learning target today had to do with the lesson or the message or the moral. We talked about what the moral of the story was. Does anybody remember what the moral means? We said lesson, but what else, Cooper? Help us out. Well, we learn from the story, right? Think about all those stories that you might have heard when you were a kid that had some sort of, you might have heard a story, the little boy who cried wolf. Yeah, and what does that story teach us? What's the moral of that story? Ryder? Don't lie, right? Because if you lie, then somebody can't trust you. And then when you are telling the truth, they might not believe you, right? So each story, when an author writes it, they're trying to teach us something. They want us to learn from this story in some way. So we're going to look at the bottom of your page. And so people at my friends at home, I'm going to show it, make sure you can see it. Let's see if I can get a little closer in here. Much better, my friends at home. So you're just going to write down, my friends at home, in your notebook, whether you think the answer is A, B, or C. Okay, that's what you're going to write down. You're going to write down whether you think it's A, B, or C. But I'll read the question first. All right, Jensen, let me read the question first before you. Yeah. All right. So it says underline the answer. So you guys are going to underline. They're going to just write the letter. Okay. So the question says, it says underline what one idea is the author wants you to take away from this book. Now, sometimes it says underline the answer you think best answers the question. Does that mean that all of them could be a little bit right, perhaps? Possibly, but they want to know which one is best. Miss Evie, I need you to turn around, my friend. Thank you. All right, so the first one says A, when working to overcome challenges, we can learn new things. So think about that. Okay, B, rain can destroy buildings that took a long time to build, and it takes a long time to build them again. Okay, think about that. And C, older children should always work harder than younger children. Okay, so everybody at home, make a choice. See if you think it's going to be A, you write A. If you think it's going to be B, write B. If you think it's going to be C, write C. Everybody else has a choice they've underlined? Okay, so stand up if you picked A, B, or C. Hopefully everybody stands up. Everybody picked an answer, right? Everybody stand up. Everybody. Sometimes it's just good to stand up, right? At home, stand up if you picked. Stand up. All right, you should have picked one. I'm checking to see if you did your job, and if you're listening to directions. All right, if you picked C, you could sit down. Okay, if you picked B, sit down. If you picked A, sit down. Okay, so we had a little bit of everything. Okay, so let's start with, let's go backwards. So we're gonna start with C. Older children should always work harder than younger children. Is that something that usually happens? Did it happen in the story? Well, we don't know really for sure the detail necessarily, right? Okay, but do you think it's the one idea that the author wants you to take away most from the story? Probably not. And some people might even have a problem with the fairness of that, right? So that's not maybe fair. So it might be true, but I don't know that it's actually the real lesson that they wanted to teach you. Okay, B, Rain can destroy buildings that took a long time to build, and it takes a long time to build them again. Is that true? In this story, it certainly is, right? But is that the main thing that the author wants us to understand? Is that going to help us in our lives? Probably not necessarily. Are we going to have rain destroying our buildings, right? Sometimes snow, we have a problem with snow here, doing some things, or hail, or wind. We have some things, but we're probably not going to have any problems with buildings and rain. So even though B is true, it's probably not the real lesson that the author wants to teach you. So let's look at A again. When working to overcome challenges, we can learn new things. Is that the lesson the author wants to teach us? Yes. Can we apply that to our lives? Yes. When we want to overcome something, we learn. So when I said, hey, maybe you're learning how to swim. Your learning challenge might be learning how to swim. But think about, once you get over that challenge, what will you be able to do? Be able to swim, right? It'll improve your life. In this case, they were learning how to build their school. So they actually got real skills from doing that. So our answer is A. But if you picked B or C, I know sometimes this is tricky because those two were also true, possibly for the situation. But A was our real answer. People at home, give me a thumbs up if you understand why A is our answer, because it applies to us. Gavin, is that good? A is a good answer? Good, perfect. Thank you, friends. Let's see, let me see my other friends. All right, Lila's got it. Jensen, you got it? All right, Isabella's got it. Isabella, I'm so glad you got in. I'm sorry it was hard, but I'm glad you made it. All right. Oh, Isabella. I said that. I didn't. No, I did not. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up here, my folks. So hold on that for just a second. Let me get out of this. All right, so we're going to evaluate how we're feeling about gists now. Okay, let me get rid of this. Okay, here's got to make my people small again. Sorry, my friends. All right, okay, you got your thumbs ready? All right, learning target. How do we feel about, I can determine the gist of Rain School. If I hadn't led you through it, could you have done it? Thumbs up? Maybe. Oh, no, Mrs. Harrison, I need a lot of help. Okay, those thumbs are a lot better today. I got more, but that's good. All right, guys, be honest with me always. If you are getting it, let us know because that helps us in the long run, okay? How about identifying the message, the central message, the lesson, or the moral? That one was a little harder. Thumbs up if you understand why A was the right choice. Thumbs side if you're still unsure, you like your other B or C. And thumbs down if you're like, Mrs. Harrison, I think you got it all wrong. All right, okay. Looks like we're ready to go. All right, so just before we go, I just wanted you to see what the real Rain School looked like. So remember how I said that the author took his idea for the story from a real school, and this is the photo he took of before he drew the illustration, and 49 years ago is when he took that picture. Well, they hadn't put it on yet, so that was just the structure. So yep, that's what they built.
Seriously, stand on the roof?
Yeah. They got to build it strong so it doesn't come down. Now, this is the school now. So remember how we said that it wasn't necessarily going to stay like that? Yeah. So this is a recent photo of the school. So do you think that they must have gotten some help and the supplies now that they have are going to withstand the rain? So now they don't have to build their school every day. All right. Okay, my friends, it is time for Mrs. Harrison's going to stop recording. Yep, I will stop